opening words this morning is coming from Mr. Leonard Portier, who is Lakota, Dakota, Anishinaabe. I don't know how to save the world. I don't have the answers or the answer. I hold no knowledge as to how to fix the mistakes of generations past and present. I only know that without compassion and respect for all of Earth's inhabitants, none of us will survive, nor do we deserve to.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sue.
Welcome to the Minnesota Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I'm Stu Smith, and I serve on the congregation as a member of the Board of Trustees. You are welcome here, however old you are, wherever you were born and grew up, whoever your ancestors were, and in whatever religious tradition you were raised. You are welcome here, whatever your gender and whoever you love. You are welcome with whatever abilities and limitations you have. We invite you to bring your whole self. Whether this is the first time here or you have been with us for many years, your presence is a gift to us. We're glad you're here. We hope you will be glad you came and that you will welcome others. After the service, everyone is invited to have refreshments and conversation in the social hall downstairs. We look forward to this chance to make new friends and renew old acquaintances.
Awesome. Make sure that if you are visiting, please make sure to fill out the visitor form, which is downstairs in the area of the greeters. This morning, we will get ready to light the chalice. And as we light the chalice,
may all who gather here be filled with joy and hope, filled with compassion and love, so that we may pour ourselves out into the world.
since we got the chalice lit, let's go and do our first hymn, which is, we're singing number 1070, Mother, I Feel You.
Just so everybody's on the same page, this is less familiar of a tune to most of the congregation, so Liv and I will play it. It's an a cappella piece, but Liv and I will sing it together once through with the piano, and then we'll start again and sing verses. Is it 3 verses in this one? 3 verses for that one. So enjoy.
Hey,
Now it's time for us to share our joys and concerns. So are there any ushers around? Pass out mics. We want to listen and feel, to understand and to offer compassion. Whatever concerns and challenges and delights that you have experienced over the past week.
Sarah Collins. I hope to see you all out on Saturday, even if you are not in Minneapolis, at a rally close by, where we are having a second celebration that America has no kings. So yeah, it's going to be another joyous event. Hope to see you there.
Hi, Marcy Lovejoy here, and actually a couple sad things for the week. Monday, a nephew of mine died of his liver cancer. I was hoping I'd get to go up to Virginia to see him, but my son got short notice on it, had to get his kid to daycare and figure out that whole thing. So anyway, he did die Monday. He always seemed like 20 or 30, he just didn't seem his age, but he was actually 45. That was a sad situation. And then also, my husband and his ex-wife had a home in the Rondo area. You might have heard of that, situation of how it divided, 94 plowed through their neighborhood. Anyway, so they're very active in some things. In the 60s, a lot of black people were not comfortable going, out, we'll say to a bar or restaurant, whatever, so they had a lot of their own private social groups. So a person that was part of that, he and his wife, Kenny and Titter, were in their 80s, and I just got the word yesterday that Kenny was in hospice, but now already today I found he's gone. We lost Kenny. Wonderful people that participated in a lot of things, related to politics, about, issues with blacks and such, and yeah, it's a great loss.
I have a couple things. Is it done? Yeah. Hold it up to your mouth all the way, like you're eating an ice cream cone. Okay, I got it. Two joyful things. One was the Buddhist Sangha yesterday. A few of you, I believe, were there. Part of the teaching was that in order to achieve true peace and happiness, there's better words, but turn to the one or the many that you truly love and say, I am here for you. And that just felt really good, and we practiced that, and I turned to my husband, Steve, and I said, I am really here for you, and it was, holding hands, and it was a really great moment, so it's a wonderful group. And the other thing is, this is shameless promotion, but next Sunday, I'm going to be performing in the annual concert of the Women's Drum Center, and it's going to be really, really fun. We're a nonprofit. We're hoping to get a lot of tickets sold, so if you, I'm going to be playing drums and flute and singing during that time, so see me for details.
Yeah, where is this at?
It's going to be at Concordia University, Saturday at pre-show at 6, concert at 7. So if you're not exhausted from going to the march, you can also come there.
Hi, my name is Lee, and I have two joys. part of to David Olson's 80th birthday party last night. That was a very honoring and joyful thing to be a part of. And number two, this morning when I looked out at my fly-through feeder, I saw the blue jays eating the peanuts very fast and very lustily. And the sad part was I looked to the left side of my yard and saw the hummingbird feeder was empty. The hummingbirds are gone to Central America now.
We have two people writing online. Our dear, kind great-granddaughter Genesis recently turned 5, started preschool, and danced in her first powwow.
Awesome.
And Matthew Snyder writes, a mix of joy and sorrow. My half-uncle on my Spanish side passed away at the beginning of the month. His service was on Thursday, and it was lovely, and it was not disrupted by the government. So happy about that.
I'm Alexander Barrett. As many of you know, my family's going through a lot of big life transitions this summer, and we continue to be getting through them and weathering the storms. And we hit a big milestone recently. We sold our house and it closed on Tuesday, and I got all my stuff moved out of it, and that's been a huge relief. And then my other joy is that many months ago, Lee and Leslie very kindly brought my family some dinner, and they've been asking for one of their dishes back, and I finally have it for you, Lee. So I'll give that to you today.
That's it. Nobody else here is happy or sad, so.
Now we proceed with our musical response. Any other announcements other than the fact that Minister Diane is on vacation visiting, I believe, her son in Utah? No other announcements? Yeah. Mike, please.
I just wanted to remind people that there's still a few weeks before we do the beep, where we work at beep and package the stuff that everybody's been providing. But I was very pleased to see how much stuff is there, but we can always use more. So if you can remember, it'll be any time between November 15th and now. 15th is the day we get together. What's the stuff again? Diapers, paper products, toilet paper.
And we're still collecting money for the Ukrainian family that we sponsored. And we're also having a letter writing campaign this afternoon after service to their senators and congressmen in Nevada, and asking them to speed up their TPS, temporary protective status renewal of their visa. They have both lost their jobs because of this, and government is sort of in limbo. So anything we can do to help, we're going to try to provide them with a letter writing campaign in Senate, and we're also collecting money so we can pay for their women housing and food for the next couple of months until this comes through, or if it comes through. Everything is pretty up in the air right now. It takes forever when this bunch isn't in the White House.
My name's Barb Berger, and my brother and sister-in-law came from Chicago, and I hadn't seen them for a long time, and they're just great. And I'm going to their house this Christmas, 'cause
Just a quick announcement, the Unitarian Universalist Christian Fellowship starts next week, every third Sunday, and it will be starting after the important business meeting after service tomorrow, next week.
Are there any more announcements? Well, first of all, I would like to give a shout out to Maria Bavier and to Richard back there helping out with the sound system, and also famous Lark on the wonderful piano. Maria Bavier helped me put this service together as quickly as she could, and I am just ecstatic over the fact that putting the service together takes more than just one human being. We're going to go ahead and continue on with our offering today. Our sharing partner is Veep. It's volunteers enlisted to assist people located here in Bloomington and the surrounding community. It has been a staple in our community for over 20 years. It provides food, counseling, and housing services. So we thank you for your wonderful generosity in helping out this wonderful entity in our community. Lark's presenting for us this morning is also written by a composer by the name of Connor Chi. Connor Chi is a renowned Navajo composer and pianist, celebrated for his evocative blend of classical music with traditional Navajo elements. Hymn number 1070, this song was written by Spencer Butte, Eugene, Oregon, in 1985. The composer writes, I was sitting with my friend David, looking out over the vast view of the Willamette Valley, wondering about the ancient roots of the area, talking about the original native tribes who lived there before the white settlers came. We became quiet and sat in meditation for a long time. I was shifted one of my medicines dramatically when I became aware that I was singing the song, Mother, I Feel You, under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. I sang it for a long time. I was very moved by the experience. As you can already tell, my fellow siblings, we are celebrating Indigenous American Day. So that means the service goes a little bit longer than expected. Realize that we're working with Indigenous time. Our wonderful speaker today is Miss Sue GoodStar. Tell you about some of her accomplishments. She graduated from Charles M. Dale High School in Brownsville, Minnesota, 1978. She graduated from Woodworth College, 1986, with an associate's degree in chemical dependency and domestic abuse. She majored in social work with minors in psychology and juvenile justice. She has four successful, awesome kids who are successful in their own right. Katie, Travis, Amanda, and Kaylee. She has a wonderful partner that she's sharing her life with, Ignacia Ambris, and she has a whole wonderful life and culture and language of her own, coming from the great country of Mexico. Her pronouns are she, her, they, and them, because Sue is awesome to spirit. Her spiritual and ceremony experience includes leading naming ceremonies, leading sweat lodge and retreats, powwow judging, specialized in the Sundance and kettle dance, enrolled in the Sisseton Wahpeton Dakota band, and leads healing ceremonies with her granddad, Mr. Charlie Albert, who was actually a medicine man. Her hobbies include puzzles and painting and sculpting. And listen to these wonderful languages being spoken: Spanish, English, and Dakota. So I introduce you to our wonderful speaker for today, who's going to be talking about cultivating compassion from a Native point of view. I introduce you to Miss Sue GoodStar.
Wow, I look like I'm 80 years old. I don't usually have my walker with me, but within the last couple of weeks, I managed to break my ankle, And just on this Monday, I ended up spraining the other ankle because I clutched out and fell down the escalators at the mall. So, okay. Thank you, Greg, for introducing me. Thank all of you for having me here. As Greg said, my name is Sue, and I am a two-spirit person. I am from the Sisseton Wahpeton, Dakota Oyate. That's located in the northeast corner of South Dakota. I've done so many things I can't even think. Growing up was very hard because others knew I was two-spirit before I knew I was two-spirit. My grandpa Charlie, we'd be all out, you know how kids are outside tussling around and fighting and scraping and things like that. Well, I hung in just with them, and they would hear somebody screaming. It wasn't me, it was somebody else. And he'd come out and he would discipline everybody, saying, hey, what are you kids doing? Leave that one alone. That one's special. They all looked at me and I thought, what? What? And that just made it worse, because then since I was special, I got picked on even more. I didn't know what was special about me. I was just like every other kid. 2 hands, 2 feet, you know, I don't know. But it kept going on like that. And then one time I asked my cousin Darwin, I said, Dar, what does Grandpa Charlie mean by I'm special? He says, I don't know, ask Chuck. So I asked my cousin Chuck. I says, Chuck, what does Grandpa Charlie mean that I'm special? He says, he didn't tell you? I said, no. He says, it means that you're two-spirit. I go, and? I didn't know what that was. He said, we know you're Winkta. And as a Winkta, Winkta means two-spirit in our language. As a Winkta, you are revered. You're looked up to. You're praised because you have special powers, special healings, and things that you can do that none of us can do. So then that kind of blew me for a second. I'm what? What, really? And so then Grandpa Charlie said, yes, you are special, my girl. And he says, and I'm going to start teaching you right now. And I was probably about 8, maybe 10, when Uncle Charlie started, or Grandpa Charlie, started teaching me how to do and how to be the two-spirit person. And he taught me healing ceremonies, naming ceremonies, sun dance, kettle dance, all these things that Greg had already told you about. And taught me how to make medicines so I can heal people. Taught me how to, when somebody comes up and asks me to do something, they have to do it proper, or I can just walk away from them. And I don't know if you know or not, but whenever you're asking a spiritual person or somebody to do something for you in our culture, you have to offer them tobacco. Whether it's 1 cigarette, whether it's a pouch of tobacco, whether it's a pinch out of that pouch of tobacco, you offer tobacco. And then with that, it's like seals the deal. It's like signing a contract. We never did anything in paper and pencil. Everything we were taught was through oral giving. Even, when naming ceremonies or stuff like that, everything is given through tobacco. And then what I do at that is I go say a prayer and stuff and put it down and ask the Creator to help me as I do this, whatever task, whether it's naming a child, whether it's blessing a house, whether it's well, it's like, besides blessing a house, you cleanse a house too by taking the old spirits out and stuff. Whether it's any of those, it has to be done right. And you can't just go in there, okay, I cleanse this house, bye. There's a lot of actions to it. And so that's what Grandpa Charlie was teaching me. And he taught me how to make medicines to heal people. And I thought, yeah, right, like I can really heal some. I'm just a person. I don't got a medical degree. Well, I do. I was a nurse. But I thought, I don't know, okay. And the thing is that whenever you approach us and ask us to do something, we have to acknowledge that you've asked, and we take the time to get to know you, like a naming. People ask me to name their child or something, and when I say name them, I don't mean their government name. They were given the government name at birth, you know. I mean a native name and stuff. And so when the person asks me to name their child, I would, first want to see the child, hold the child if possible. Sometimes I can't hold them because they're in the NICU, and we believe that if you do not have a spirit name when you pass, you will not make it up to the Creator. So, but yeah, we do that, and then I'll take the tobacco that they gave me, pray on it, put it out, and then I have to wait for a dream to come after getting to know the child and after getting to know the parents. And that will define what that child's name would be. And so it's kind of weird, and some people don't believe, and that's okay too. You don't have to believe. I don't ask you to believe. I just ask you that you'd be aware that we are out there and we do things different than y'all's. Who am I? I am just a person. I'm no different than any of you. In fact, you all is probably more different than what I am. You probably can do what I can do and more. I don't know that. But I don't claim to be something I'm not. I am very, I guess for y'all it would be like devout Christians. Don't kill me, I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in him or her. I am a devout traditionalist. And what I mean by that is I was raised with my traditional cultural beliefs. And from there, I've done everything that I possibly can traditionally. My kids are all named. They all have traditional names. My grandkids all have them. My great-grandkids all have them. People I've met along the way have, wanted to have a name, and they would say, can I? I says, well, yeah, I don't usually give a name to an older person or someone unless they actually believe in the culture. Because you have to believe before anything can happen. Just like you have to believe in the Bible, or it ain't gonna help or happen. So I take the teachings and I do that, and it's like, I don't know, it's like when I'm doing a naming or doing a ceremony, it's like I'm there, but I'm not there. It's kind of like an out-of-body experience. I can see me doing it, but it's like, it's not me doing it. It's not me doing it. It's my traditional self doing it. And I even end up talking Dakota a lot, and it's like, whoa, you speak that a lot, don't you? It's like, me? I can't. I'll hold cute conversations or make jokes, but as far as doing a whole ceremony in it, no, I couldn't do it, but that other one can. And I'm not dual personalities either. Let's see. things that I've done besides naming, I've healed a lot of people, especially during COVID time. People are saying, I got this COVID, I don't feel good, nothing is working, I'm tired of going to the doctor and him telling me the same thing. Well, it's on Ignacia, I'm gonna tell my story about her. She had COVID really bad, and nothing. It's fine, it's fine. See, they wanted to hear too. So, he was sick and she was laying in bed and she ached and pained and didn't want to do nothing. Literally did not want to do nothing. I says, whenever you're ready, just let me know when you want to get well, because I can heal you. And she says, well, do it then. And I said, okay. So I went and got everything I needed. And it's not just like sugar, cinnamon, honey, all that kind of stuff. No, it's like things out in the wild, like cedar, sage, sweetgrass, tobacco, juniper berries, things like that. Not all those at once, but. And so I made this tea for her. And I took it in a big mason jar. And I told her, drink 2 cups 3 times a day. And then when you're done, if there's any tea left, spill it out. We don't want it. So she said, okay. She says, she's on my last day now. I said, okay. Oh, and I told her, I says, and it tastes god-awful. I said, so you can add honey to it, but not sugar. She says, okay. So she was on her last day, and so I was making up the second part of it. And she says, okay. I said, okay, tomorrow we're going to start this one. Same thing. And it's going to taste god-awful. So you can do the honey. She goes, I'm not worried. The first one wasn't bad, so this wasn't going to be bad either. It's okay. Morning came, and I got her her first cup of tea. And she took a drink of it. She went, oh my God, that's awful. I said, I told you it was going to be god awful. You want me to put honey in there? No, that's okay. Why does this one taste so bad? I says, what does COVID do to you? It takes away your smell and your taste and everything. I said, it's leaving you. That's why you can taste it. So she finished it in 2 days. After that, it was like no keeping up to her then. It's hard to keep up to her now anyway, but then she was like super energized and went. So it's things like that. And her son was real sick, Alex, our boy, and he was real sick. And she says, come home quick. I don't know what's wrong with Alex. And so I went down there and looked at him, smudged him, prayed over him, and laid eagle feathers with him. And he was fine the next day again. So it's like, there's things that, and you gotta believe, that's the main thing, is you gotta believe. If you don't believe, then no matter what I do, it's not gonna help you. It's not gonna do anything for you. And one time I was asked by a friend, his niece was in a really bad car accident. Well, she was on a bike, and she got hit by a car, drunk driver. And she was in the hospital and wasn't making any improvements. In fact, they were getting ready to start making arrangements and stuff. And James says, wait, let me get Sue. Let me see what Sue can do. So he told me about the case, and I talked to her mom, and I went in there, and I did a ceremony for her, saged her all down, left an eagle feather with there, and cedar and stuff. And she was on a respirator, wouldn't respond to any commands, anything. And then I saged the whole area of where she, of where she was. And then we put it out. Well, it didn't want to go out. Tried again, wouldn't go out. Tried and tried and tried and tried. On the 7th time, it finally went out. Her spirit was strong. Her spirit didn't want that sage to go out. And two numbers that are very important to us is the number 4 and the number 7. And because they both go with directions. There's actually 7 directions instead of 4, but the 4 is for the 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. And then besides those 4, we got heaven, earth, and ourself. The main direction is ourself. You know, and if we're not right with the other 6 directions, we're not going to be right. And so, I'm also a pipe carrier, and I'm sure you've seen westerns or whatever where they say, you know, let's smoke them peace pipe, you know, that kind of stuff. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's only in certain circumstances that we break them out and stuff. Oh, that's what I did with Alex too. I smoked the pipe and stuff, and I was so worried, but he ended up being okay next day. But yeah, so with smoking, for being a pipe carrier, that brings us to the Sundance. And people always tell me there's no similarities between traditionalism and Christianity. But there is. If you look, you'll see that there is. During a Sundance, we call it Tree Day, and it's usually on a Wednesday, and they bring a tree out and they put it in the middle of the Sundance spot, and it stays there. And from there, we tie the ropes up to it, and there's a crossbar that keeps it steady. Tie the ropes to it, and then when the dancers get there, they get pierced. Wow. And then an eagle bone is stuck through, and then the ropes are tied to there. And so, what happens when you're on the cross? He was pierced. He was on the cross, and when our dancers dance, we dance with our arms out and back. And he suffered, by what I'm told anyway, he suffered for his people to take away their sins and give them new life, new energy. Well, that's what Sundancers do. They pray on that, and for us it's 4 days, not 3 days. On that tree for 3 days, dancing around, and they're not just standing, they're leaning back, so their skin's being stretched as they lean back. And when the skin pops, then you're done and you wait until the whole tree, and sometimes there's 2, 3, 4 dancers, sometimes there's 14, 15, 20 dancers. It all depends. And that's where the kettle dance comes in. But I won't explain that because you guys will go, oh no, yeah. Unless you want me to, I can explain the kettle dance. Sure, yeah, okay. All right, part of the Sundances is when everybody's starting to rip off and stuff, we have a feast afterwards. And it's traditional foods. And I don't know if you guys ever heard the saying, oh no, they're gonna eat dog. Well, yes, we do eat dog. Actually, it's a puppy. And when you do a Sundance, you have this big cauldron, and you have a puppy in there. And when everybody is starting to break, because I'm Heyoka, go around and dance around the cauldron, make 4 rotations, and while the pot is still boiling and stuff, I go in and reach in that pot, grab that puppy, pull it out, and put it on a platter. No glove, no nothing. Just with my bare hand in boiling water. With that, I don't get burnt, I don't get singed, nothing. Because you gotta believe in the power that what you have in order to protect yourself from getting burnt, and you gotta believe in the person who's running the Sundance in order not to get hurt. So, a lot of times, compassion is a big thing, a huge thing. Because not only, I was telling you about, and then I sage it down, and her sage didn't go out for 7 times. And she was never responding, but after that, I was told the next day, she started breathing on her own, and she was listening to commands and was responding. So, the doctors and nurses were saying, it's a miracle, it's a miracle. And her mom says, no, it wasn't a miracle. You know, she goes, it happened. So, again, like I'm saying, I'm not no magician. I'm not no, I don't know, I don't have a PhD or anything like that. Master's, no PhD. But those things do happen. And a bit about two-spiritness is the reason it's called two-spirit is because you encompass both the male and female spirit within you. So like if there is a sweat lodge going on and they're minus 1 man to do the ceremony, I can go in there in that place of the man, and while I'm in there, it's like something happens, and then I become Sue, the male two-spirit, so I could do the ceremony. Otherwise, if they are short, a female and stuff, I could go in and represent that way also. So when Greg said my pronouns were she, her, they, them, well, it's also he. I'll respond to he also. And I do what I can to care for people. If it's somebody, even somebody I don't know, but they need help and I see something happen, I will go and offer of myself to help them without even having tobacco or anything like that. It's all on my own brain. So, and the main thing, we do have our similarities, like I said, but the main thing is we cannot mix the two. And what I mean by that is I cannot be a traditional Monday through Saturday and then be a Christian on Sunday. It doesn't work like that. As a matter of fact, story about that, my son's a firekeeper, and he's been a firekeeper since he's been about 12. And he went to Bear Butte in South Dakota, and he tied some people, when I say tied some people in, they were doing a vision quest, and they have a circle of like stones around, and then 4 corners of stakes, and to tie them in, he'll lead the person into the circle, and then to tie them in, he has a string of prayer ties. I should have brought them in from the car so it's know what it is. What it is, it's a little tiny bag of tobacco in there, and he just puts it on one side and goes around and ties them all the way in, and they can't leave for 4 days. And so he watches them, makes sure they're okay, keeps their fire going for those 4 days. And he got done with that and he came back home. And the next day was a Sunday, and this, bless her heart, little Emma, she asked if we would go to church with her, and we told her that we just got off Sundance, we can't do that. Goes, oh no, just help me get into church and everything like that. I said, okay, so my son has always done that, you know, he, for the elderly in a second, you know. So he helped Grandma Emma in the church, sat her down, and then he says, now what, Mom? I said, just wait, you know, let her, she's in church. Oh. But it wasn't just church. It was Communion Sunday. and little Emma wanted to go take communion. So she asked my son to help her up to the pulpit to receive communion. So he goes, Mom, what do I do? I said, just take her up there. Just, you don't have to take it, just take her up there. He said, okay, so he took her up there. Before he had a chance to say anything, the minister put the wafer on his tongue while he was trying to talk, and he slipped that puppy in there. And then, the wine is next, or the juice, or whatever you use. He went there, and those wafers, I guess, are pretty dry, I don't know. So he took that because it was dry and messing up his mouth, and he took that, turned this way to walk off with little Emma, boom, hit the ground, hard, passed out, colder than cold, because he mixed the two. Didn't mean to mix the two. It wasn't up to him to mix the two, but due to the fact that he was being compassionate and taking Grandma Emma up to take communion, he crossed the line of mixing the two. And he passed out. Luckily, there was 2 people there that were EMTs and paramedics. They picked him up. They said, what's wrong? I said, just take him outside and get him some air. He'll be okay. So as soon as they got him out of the church, into the air, he came out of it. And he said, Mom, what happened? I said, it got you. I said, you mixed the two, not wanting to, but you mixed the two. He goes, man, that was scary. I said, yeah, I know. I said, you just got to be careful that when you do things, you do it properly and you don't mix the two. He says, I never have, except for that one time. And that taught him a lesson. So, being compassionate, we have to watch what we do so we don't get struck down. And I always make the joke is, I can't go to church, I'll get struck down. But this is teaching you and telling you about how we are. And so I figured he'll let me go this time. So that basically brings me to the end. And I just want to say again, thank you very much for having me here as a guest speaker. And if anything ever comes up, get a hold of Greg and I'll see what kind of miracles I can work. Thank you.
The last hymn is 1073, Earth is Our Mother. And just like we did before, Liv and I will sing it with the piano the first time through, then we'll start back through. We're just going to do verses 1 through 3, not the whole 6. So.
take care of us. Hey, Yunga, oh, Yunga, hey, Yum, Yum. Hey, Yunga, oh, Yunga, hey, Yum, Yum.
We will proceed with our chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we get together again. We would like to depart knowing that fellow siblings come from all walks of life and that we need to lift every different culture and people and languages and acknowledge the paths that we take, offering compassion and understanding in our thoughts, hearts, minds, and actions. Let us depart in that spirit.